question 3. Okay, we've got our equations, we've got our place to set our answers, so we can solve this problem. So here we're talking about Rh markers on human blood cells, and in the US, about 16% of the population, so 16% of individuals, are Rh negative. So 16% are recessive, so Rh negative is recessive allele. So right away we know what our Q squared term is, and that's going to be 0.16, so 16% of the population. From that we can quickly figure out what Q is just by taking the square root of that 0.16. So we find that Q is going to be equal to 0.4, 40%. So 40% of the alleles in the gene pool are going to be those recessive alleles. All of the rest of the alleles, so adding up to 100%, must be those dominant alleles. And then to find each of the remaining terms, P squared is just going to be squaring this P term, and that'll give us that 36% of the individuals are going to be homozygous dominant. And 2pq, again, we're just multiplying the number 2 times our value for P times our value for Q. So 2 times 0.6 times 0.4 will give us that about 48% of the population is going to be heterozygous individuals. So then a final check for ourselves. These numbers are adding up to 100%. About these numbers are also adding up to 100%, so we're not missing anything here. Then the question itself is asking us, out of a population of 2,000, how many would we expect for each of the genotypes? So for each of these genotypes for our 3 different kinds of individuals. So we know that the homozygous dominant individuals make up 36% of the population. We know that the heterozygotes are going to make up 48% of the population, and then we know that the homozygous recessive individuals are going to make up 16%. So then to figure out how many individuals there are from that, it's going to be a matter of multiplying those percentages times the number of people in that population. So for homozygous dominant group, we should have about 720 individuals that are homozygous dominant. For our heterozygotes, we should have about 960 individuals with that genotype, and for our homozygous recessive individuals, we should have about 320. So those would be our answers. Again, you'll want to do a final check to make sure that these numbers are adding up to the total population. So in this case, they are adding up to 2,000. So our answer to this question would be those 3 points right there.